I'm not sure why I'm doing this video, but I have to state a couple of things. So in this video, guys, we're going to talk about why Kamala Harris lost, or Kamala, whatever the hell her name is, why she lost. Now, right now, the campaign is blaming everything else under the sun. They're blaming Tim Walz. They're blaming the candidate herself, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're blaming Tim Walz. Some people are blaming Kamala Harris. They're blaming the staff that she was being rude to. And then you have the people at The View blaming social media and saying there needs to be more restriction on social media because of what happened to Kamala Harris. Now, they could blame everything they want. They could blame the moon and the stars and the sun and the planet weren't aligned and the wind shifted to the left a little bit, blowing her off course. Whatever nonsense they want to use, it comes down to one simple explanation that they are avoiding. Kamala Harris was the reason why Kamala Harris lost the election. Kamala Harris was a failed vice president, the worst in American history, I might add. She was about to be replaced as Biden's running mate. She screwed up her entire vice presidency, and somehow the idiots that voted for her thought that she was going to make a miraculous change once she got into the presidential seat or the White House in the Oval Office sitting behind the desk. They thought she was going to make this miraculous change, like a crackhead all of a sudden becoming fucking clean. And the bitch is an alcoholic. Let's not even go there. Anyway, she's not going to clean up her act. A lot of people notice that. The American people have spoken when a lot of areas, guys, flipped from blue to red. Democrats were voting for Trump because they could not stand Kamala Harris. I'm pretty sure they couldn't stand the whole package. Her face, her smile, her horse teeth, you name it. The fact that she's a raging alcoholic and trying to hide it and not doing a very good job, I might add. And all of this, guys, is why she lost. The whole thing. The whole picture. You look at it, you go, ugh, this is why she lost. Look at her. Now, back in the days, Kamala Harris was good looking. I have to admit, I saw a couple of younger pictures. I'm like, I'd throw that a beating. But Kamala Harris now looks like a fucking alcoholic looking for her next bottle. And that's not why she lost. That's part of the reasons why I think some people saw it and didn't want to vote for her. But she lost, guys, because she had no credibility. She had nothing. People just didn't trust somebody who sat there and said, we're going to change X, Y, and Z, when you could have changed X, Y, and Z while you were in office. When she was in office, she could have made a ton of suggestions. She could have wrote out a ton of bills. She could have had talked to other politicians and senators and congressmen and things like that to start other bills. But she didn't. She didn't do anything. She was comfortable. She was comfortable in her way. She was like, oh man, I'm vice president. I'm getting coffee and cookies and donuts. I don't have to do much. And that's what she thought her time was. And little did she know she had to put in a little bit of work, which she didn't put any in. Now, a guy in my firehouse made a great point. He states that this whole Kamala Harris being picked as Joe Biden's vice president was forced upon Joe Biden, and that this was Joe Biden's revenge, putting her in place and pretty much shutting her shit down. Remember, they couldn't stand each other when they were running against each other for presidency, and then all of a sudden, he picked this bitch to fucking be the vice president, running mate at that, because they wanted a first black female, they wanted a first Indian dothead vice president. And they wanted her to be the first black female president. That's why people voted for her. That's a dumb reason to vote for her. Here, guys, the rub is the left votes with emotions. They don't vote because they look at somebody's track record and go, this is who I want. There are a lot of people who do not like Trump but voted for Trump because he has a good track record. He already proved it. The left votes with emotions and they look at it and go, well, I want a black woman in the presidency. That's why they voted for her. That's why a lot of people voted for her. They wanted the first woman. They wanted the first black woman, which you got to constantly remind them. She's not black. She's fucking 7-Eleven, right? That's the kind of shit you got to remind them. They don't want to hear it. But you vote with emotions and you vote because you want a woman in there? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now, I hate to say this. Guys. But the only woman who was cold-hearted enough and decisive enough to run for president was Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton had a set of balls on her. Whether you like it or not, She had a set of balls. She was decisive. She's the only female who could run for presidency and put her emotions at the door. Most females can't. Hillary Clinton and women like Hillary Clinton are the women who need to run a country. They need to put their bullshit PMS to the side. I know she's old, so she's not PMSing anymore. But they need to put their bullshit to the side and not vote, but move this country through way of right and wrong, and not, oh, I feel like a bitch today. Let me shit on fucking Sudan. You know, like, that's not how you run a country. You don't run a country through emotions. You run a country on actions and information. And Kamala Harris couldn't do that. Kamala Harris, guys, couldn't convince enough people to vote for her, apparently, because Trump won. Now, I do have to say this. I am wrong in stating that Trump was going to lose. I thought the left, the Democratic Party, was going to take this by force, and they did it. This was an honest election. And I said that if it was going to be an honest election, he was going to win hands down. And he did. But this whole time, I thought they were going to do some crazy shit. And all of a sudden, I was going to wake up the next morning and she was going to fucking be in the lead. But that didn't happen. But I also wasn't paying attention to the fact that the Democratic Party was panicking. Now, I said that they were panicking, but I wasn't paying close enough attention. And one thing I missed that I wasn't paying attention at all was the fact that there were eyes on this election like you wouldn't believe. They were not letting up. They were following trucks to the drop-off point, to the pickup points. They were on it. They had lawyers and all kinds of shit in damn near every county to make sure that no fuckery was going on. I didn't pay attention to that. And after I started seeing that, it was more like after my live stream the other night, I was like, oh shit, he might win. This might be an honest election. And then lo and behold, he won. So I was wrong for saying that, he was going to lose. Other than that, guys, Kamala Harris lost because Kamala Harris is Kamala Harris. She's just stupid. She's an idiot. She has no value. And that's the other problem. Zero value this lady has. Trump has value. Trump has already shown us what he was going to do, or what he's done, and now what he's going to do. But now he got the left saying that women's rights are over. They make it sound like Trump's going to be inaugurated in January and women are going to go right back into the kitchen and cook sandwiches and burgers and all kinds of shit. I'm like, what the fuck? All right, not burgers, but sandwiches and soup and things like that. And I'm like, how did we get here? Women's rights are going to disappear as soon as Trump's inaugurated. That's what the left is still crying, and the propaganda is still pushing. They're still pushing the lie. Anyway, guys, this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching The Angry Truth.